Have you ever noticed how we often expect the worst from each other even when the reality right in front of us is quite kind? Imagine you are walking down a busy street and you see a small delivery robot trying to cross the sidewalk. Your first thought might not be about the technology or the convenience. Instead, you might wonder how long it will take before someone kicks it or tries to steal it. This fear of vandalism is the most common reaction people have when they see new technology in public spaces. We seem to have a very low opinion of our fellow human beings. We watch movies where society collapses and neighbors turn into enemies over a bottle of water. We see stories of greed and violence in every apocalyptic film Hollywood makes. Yet when real-life emergencies happen like a citywide water shortage, we often see people standing in line with patience and helping those who are weaker. There is a massive gap between the stories we tell about ourselves and the way we actually behave. We are living in a world where we are constantly told that humans are bad and that we cannot be trusted. This constant stream of negativity creates a fog that hides the truth of our collective goodness. We need to look deeper into why we choose to believe the worst and how our modern tools are designed to keep us feeling miserable about humanity. On the surface, we think our fear of robots being destroyed is a practical concern about crime. We view it as a simple question of security and law. This surface concept suggests that people are naturally destructive and will break things just because they can. We see a shiny new machine and we assume it is a target for the worst parts of our nature. However, the data tells a very different story. These robots actually complete their tasks with more reliability than human workers do. The rate of failure is tiny and it includes every possible problem like technical glitches or bad weather. Vandalism is only a small fraction of that tiny percentage. On the surface, we worry about the robot, but the robot is actually safer than we think. We are focusing on the few bad apples while ignoring the thousands of people who simply step aside to let the robot pass. Our surface worries are based on a loud minority of negative events rather than the quiet majority of positive or neutral interactions. This leads us to a hidden assumption that humans are fundamentally broken and selfish. We often assume that if there were no police or no rules, we would all start attacking each other immediately. This hidden assumption is reinforced by the media we consume every single day. We assume that the person sitting next to us on the bus is a potential threat rather than a potential friend. We have been conditioned to believe that our survival depends on being suspicious of everyone else. This hidden belief makes us feel isolated and lonely. It creates a world where we are afraid to innovate because we think we are not good enough to handle the responsibility. We assume that a disaster will bring out our inner demons, but history shows that disasters usually bring out our inner heroes. The assumption that we are bad is a weight that we carry, and it prevents us from seeing the amazing things we can achieve when we work together. There is a structural pattern in our lives that keeps this negativity alive, and it is built into the very platforms we use to communicate. This structural pattern is known as negativity bias. Our brains are designed to pay more attention to threats than to rewards. In the past, this helped us survive. If a person smelled gas or saw a predator, they had to react quickly to stay alive. Today, this ancient survival instinct is being used against us by social media companies. Their business models are almost entirely based on clicks and attention. They have found through endless testing that a negative headline will always get more clicks than a positive one. Because they make money every time you click, they are perversely incentivized to push the most toxic and angry content into your feed. This creates a structural loop where we are shown the worst behavior of humanity over and over again. We start to believe that this toxic content is a true reflection of the world. We are trapped in what could be called an unhappiness machine. The structure of the internet is not designed to show us the truth. It is designed to keep us angry so that we keep scrolling. This pattern distorts our view of our neighbors and our society until we truly believe that we are all on the verge of hurting each other. We must reframe our perspective by realizing that we are being tricked by our own technology. Instead of seeing our fellow humans as a threat, we can reframe our view to see that the vast majority of people are actually kind and cooperative. We can choose to see the success of a delivery robot as a testament to human decency rather than a lucky break. We need to reframe the stories we tell about the future. Instead of imagining the end of the world as a time of violence, we can see it as a time where community becomes our strongest asset. We should reframe our understanding of survival. It is not our ability to fight that made us successful as a species. It was our ability to trust and work together. When we change the lens through which we see the world itself starts to look different. We can stop being victims of an unhappiness machine and start being architects of a more hopeful reality. This perspective shift allows us to demand better regulation for the platforms that profit from our fear. We can stop blaming ourselves for being bad and start blaming the systems that are designed to make us feel that way. Applying this to our daily life starts with being mindful of what we consume online. We can apply this by intentionally looking for the good stories. When you see a negative headline, try to remember that it is being shown to you because it is profitable, not necessarily because it is common. We can apply this by testing our own trust in small ways. The next time you see a stranger in need of help, notice your first instinct. Is it to walk away because of fear, or is it to move closer because of empathy? We can choose to be the kind of person we want to see in the movies. We can apply this to how we treat new ideas and technologies. Instead of asking how people will break something, we can ask how it will help us be better to one another. We can practice a digital fast where we step away from the unhappiness machine and spend time in the physical world. In the physical world, we see people holding doors for each other and sharing smiles. We see the reality of human kindness that never makes it into the viral algorithm. By focusing on these real interactions, we can slowly rebuild our high opinion of ourselves. We must also think about the role of regulation in our lives. If we know that these platforms are designed to hurt our mental health, we can support laws that protect us from toxic algorithms. It is not a matter of stopping innovation, but of ensuring that innovation serves the best parts of us rather than the worst. We should reflect on why we are so quick to believe the bad news and so slow to accept the good. If we can master our ancient negativity bias, we can finally build a world that reflects our true potential. We are not the monsters that Hollywood portrays. We are a species of helpers and creators who have been convinced otherwise by a machine that makes money from our misery. It is time to turn off that machine and look at each other with fresh eyes. We have a much higher ceiling than we realize, and our reliability as a society is actually very high. We have survived countless challenges not by being cruel but by being connected. The robot on the sidewalk is not a target for a kick. It is a symbol of a world where we can trust each other to let a small machine pass by in peace. If you realized that the toxic world you see on your screen was actually a lie created for profit, would you finally be brave enough to trust the stranger standing right next to you?